Hey friends, was machst du? What's going on? Y'all chilling? Good. Today we're learning Daf Kuf Yud Zayin of Masechta Shabbis, Daf 117. It's a good daf. What do you want me to tell you? It starts off a little bit complicated. The middle of it's also a little bit complicated. The very end of it isn't so complicated. In any event, friends, I'll call upon him. Let's do a quick intro. So, at the beginning we continue on our machlokas between the Chachamim and Rabbi Yishmael ben Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka regarding the stripping the hide from a korban pesach when Erev Pesach is on Shabbis. And if you're wondering what the tie-in is to our Mishnah, you will find out soon. Now, also in our Mishnah we talked about transferring these kisvei hakodesh to a mavui mefulash or mavui she'enu mefulash, machlokas ben beseira and the Chachamim in the Mishnah. We will discuss these mavuis. Then we will discuss saving food from fire and saving wine from a leaky barrel. And then at the end we'll get to some interesting kind of Shabbosy cool bits, which you might recognize some of them from Masechta Brachos. Friends, let's get moving here. So we're starting on Daf Kuftes Zayin Amud Beis, about 5 lines from the bottom. Well, exactly 5 lines from the bottom. Amr of Chizda, Amr Mar Ukva. So, friends, what were we talking about yesterday at the end? We were talking about the machlokas between the Chachamim and Rabbi Yishmael ben Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka when it comes to Erev Pesach that falls out on a Shabbos. So you offer the korban pesach. And then, so according to Rabbi Yishmael ben Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, what you do is after you slaughter the korban pesach, you then hang it by its feet, by its hind legs, and then you slit its like belly down to its chest, and you take out the emurim and you put those on the mizbech, and then that's it. You leave it like that. It's now muksa. Well, let's not say it's muksa, but you definitely do not continue doing being mafshit. You definitely do not continue stripping the hide from the animal, from the sheep, because you already took out the emurim. You have no reason to continue. Mafshit is one of the 39 malachas. You already did the hafshata that you needed for the korban pesach, so there's no reason to continue. Wait until after Shabbos. According to the Chachamim, however, you would continue, you remove all of the hide. And they give their reason because, Kopal Hashem lemaneu, that everything that God does is for His honor. Therefore, we want to make sure that this korban pesach is honorable towards God. And if we don't remove all of the skin, it's either going to go rancid, like Rav Yosef said, or Rava said, it's not mechubad, that we should have this carcass half skinned, and that's going to be our korban. So rather you can remove all of the hide. Now at the end they said, what does Rabbi Yishmael ben Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka do with the pasuk of Kopal Hashem lemaneu? So he said, that's how we know that you slit the hide until the chest and take out what you need, because if you don't slit the hide first, then the emurim will get like wool on them, hair on them, and we don't want that. So because of Kopal Hashem lemaneu, because of everything that that God does and everything that we do, concerning God will be for His honor, so we make sure to slit the hide until the chest, that you could take out the emurim without getting any hair on them. However, once you slit the hide down to the chest, at that point, there's really no excuse, there's no reason why you should be able to continue skinning this animal and doing the malacha of mafshit. So therefore, the Gemara starts out now asking, how do the Rabbanan respond to Rabbi Yishmael ben Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka's challenge? How do they answer this question of, that's a good point. Are you really allowed to do this melacha of mafshit for the sake of Kopal Hashem lemaneu, for making sure that this animal stays honorable to God? Because after all, remember friends, there are ways to get around it, right? Meaning, Rav Yosef said that the whole point of Kopal Hashem lemaneu is that it doesn't go rancid. We said if there's like a northern wind blowing, then that's not an issue. Or like if, I don't know, maybe create some kind of refrigeration thing if you can, or, if we talked about Rava's opinion of that it's disgraceful if you just leave the hide on there, well, put it on a golden table. Like, there are ways around that. This isn't just a green light to start doing the malacha of Avshata on Shabbos because of Kol Pa'al Hashem L'Maneu. So, says the Gemara, Amr Rav Chizda, Amr Mar Ukva, Mayahadru leChevraya leRabbi Shmuel ben Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka. So what did the Chachamim respond to Rabbi Shmuel ben Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka? Hachi ka'amr le. This is what they said to him. Im matzilin tika sefer im sefer lo nafshit es pesach me'oro. So they wanted to respond with the following argument, which is, well, in our Mishnah, we said that if you have a bag, and in the bag is a Sefer Torah, but in the bag is also money, and there's also a fire. So we say that you're allowed to save the whole thing. You're allowed to save the bag that has the Sefer Torah in there, but also has the money. You can save all of it to save it from the fire. The point being that once already you are doing something lichvod gavoa, right, for a tzorech gavoa, i.e. you're saving the Sefer Torah, so if the money, which is a tzorech hedyot, right, which is your own personal desire to save, it's on your own personal benefit to save the money, well, if that comes along with it, then that's no problem. So they want to make the same argument over here, which is that if we have this command of, or this pasuk that says Kol Pa'al Hashem L'Maneu, right, that we want to make sure that everything that we do, that this korban pesach is going to be mechubad for God, well then along with that we could do the malacha of avshata, and if that means that there's going to be some kind of benefit for us that later on we don't have to skin it after Shabbos, well that just kind of comes along within the context of Kol Pa'al Hashem L'Maneu, just like the money that's in the bag comes along with saving the Sefer Torah. So the Gemara says, but me dummy, are these two cases similar? Saving the Sefer Torah in the bag and doing a malacha on Shabbos? Hasam tiltul hacha malacha. What would be the problem with saving the money when it's in the bag with the Sefer Torah? Well, the money's muktzah. That's about the most you could say. It's muktzah. Midrabanan. You're moving muktzah. So to save a Sefer Torah, right, and there's money in the bag, just save the Sefer Torah and don't worry about the money. But over here, this is a different story. This is mamish a malacha on Shabbos. It's not a midrabanan like muktzah. It's mamish the malacha, one of the 39 malachas. If you look at Daf Ayin Gimel Amud Aleph, at the Mishnah that Lamet, what was it? Abayim Chaser Achas. What do we say over there? Avos Melachos Abayim Chaser Achas. So one of them it says, right, Atzad Sviv Hashochto ve'amafshito. Somebody who removes the hide. So it's mamish one of the 39 melachos. You can't just say that because of Kol Pa'al Hashem L'Maneu we could do one of these 39 melachos. So Rav Ashi kind of comes with this interesting mahalach that ultimately gets thrown away. Rav Ashi b'tarte pligi. So Rav Ashi says, okay, so let's start over. So actually, Rabbi Shmuel ben Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka and the Chachamim are arguing about two things. Pligi b'tiltul or pligi b'melacha. Okay, so they're arguing about two things. When it comes to muktzah, and they also argue when it comes to melacha. They argue when it comes to korban pesach, right? They say, so Rabbi Shmuel ben Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka says the korban pesach is actually muktzah, and once you've already slit down to the chest and removed whatever you have to remove, it's muktzah. You can't move this korban pesach anymore. And the Chachamim say that it's not muktzah. You can move it. Okay. And they also argue about the malacha of mafshit, of afshata, of stripping the animal. Rabbi Yishmael ben Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka says that you can't go past the chest, because once you've done what you got to do and put the emurin on the mizbeach, that's it. You've done what you needed to do. And the Chachamim say you can even continue to strip it. Okay? So pligi b'tiltul u'fligi b'melacha v'achi ka'amri lei. And now this is what the Chachamim are trying to respond to Rabbi Yishmael ben Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka when it comes at least to muktzah. Okay? Fine. So remember, Rabbi Shmuel ben Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka says that this korban that you've slit down to the chest and remove the emurim, at this point it is muktzah, you can't move it. And the Chachamim say you can move it and you can continue to remove, and additionally you can continue to remove the hide. So they say regarding muktzah, im matzilin tika sefer im sefer lo nitatal or agav basar. Okay, so here's the interesting thing. So remember, according to Rabbi Shmuel ben Osher, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, he says that this meat of the korban pesach is actually muktzah, right? Now, the Chachamim say that it's not muktzah because it's we still can, we consider it kachim, and it's kachim shemaim, and it's muktzah. Whereas, as Rashi says on Kuf Yud Zayin Amud Aleph, on the first thin line, he says, Rabbi Yishmael leis le kvod shemaim benecha lehedjot. He doesn't have this idea of kvod shemaim when something is eaten by just regular people, such as the korban pesach, which is eaten by chabura on Pesach night. So therefore, he considers it to be muktzah. So now the Chacham make this interesting argument, which is imatzilin tika sefer ima sefer. Well, if you're allowed to save the bag that the Sefer Torah is in, right? Meaning you're saving the Sefer Torah, and with the Sefer Torah, you can also save the bag that the Sefer Torah is in. Well, then lo nitatal or agav basar. So why shouldn't we be able to? Right? This is what the Chacham are saying. Why shouldn't you be able to move the korban pesach that has been slit down to its chest, and then the hide that's there, it just comes along with the korban pesach. So the Gemara says, what do you mean? Me dummy? Are these two examples similar? Right? Moving the bag that the Sefer Torah is in, is that really analogous with moving the hide that's surrounding the meat? Hasam naise basas udavar amuter, hacha naise basas udavar aser. In the case of the Sefer Torah in the bag, well, the bag becomes a basis, a base for something that is permitted. Right? I.e., the Sefer Torah obviously is not muktzah. The Sefer Torah is something that's permitted to be moved. And the bag becomes a basis for it, for something that's mutter, a base for something that's mutter, and you can move the Sefer Torah, you can move the bag. But remember, over here, Rabbi Shmuel ben Osher, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka is assuming that this meat is muktzah, it's aser. And therefore, the meat is aser, and the hide just becomes a basis, a base for this meat that is aser, so it's just all one big iser. So the Rabbanan, how are you making this case that because you can move the bag with the Sefer Torah in it, you would also be able to move the meat and the hide? They're apples and oranges. One is basis udavar mutter. This is by the hide and the animal. It's basis udavar aser. Okay, so rather this is what the Chachamim are saying to Rabbi Shmuel ben Osher, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka. Well, if you're able to save the bag that the Sefer Torah is in, together with the Sefer Torah, even though there's money in it, right? So you have a Sefer Torah, it's in a bag, there's also money in the bag. You can save the whole thing, even though there's money in it, and the money is muktzah. So here also, let's say that you should be able to, right, lo nitatal or agav basar, would we not be able to move the meat and the hide together? So again, the Gemara says, mi dummy. I mean, you can't really compare the two cases. Hasam naise basis l'davar aser ve'uli davar amuter, hacha kulo naise basis l'davar aser. No, in the case of the bag with the Sefer Torah and the money, so the bag becomes a basis, a base for something that's permitted and something that is not permitted, i.e. for the Sefer Torah, which is mutter, and the money, which is aser. But because there's the mutter aspect of it, that's why you're allowed to move this bag with the Sefer Torah and even with the money. But over here, with the meat and the hide, I mean, according to Rabbi Yishmael ben Osher, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, it's really just a basis l'davar ha'aser. You can't move the meat and you can't move the hide. So elahachi ka'amrei. Okay, rather this is what the Chachamim are saying to Rabbi Yishmael ben Osher, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka. Emiviin tik sheyesh besocho maos. If you can bring a bag that has in it money, me alma, just from somewhere random, la'atzil bo sefer Torah. Okay, so what the Gemara is assuming right now is that you would even, if there was a Sefer Torah, and the Sefer Torah wasn't in any kind of, it was not in any kind of a bag or anything like that, and there was a fire encroaching, so you run to grab a bag so that you can put the Sefer Torah in the bag. However, that bag has money in it. So the assumption is that you'd be allowed to take that bag with the money, even though it's literally just a bag with money, nonetheless you'd be allowed to move it on Shabbos in order to save this Sefer Torah. So here we see that you're moving money in a bag, so I should also be able to move meat that's in the hide, i.e. something, right, the money in the bag. So basically, the money is aser and it's in the bag. So the bag is being a basas sadavar aser, and yet you can still move it in order to save the Sefer Torah. So we should say over here as well that you'd be able to move the, what can you move? We can move the meat that's in the hide. You can move the meat that is in the hide as well, even though it's a basar sadavar aser. Shalom nitaltel or agav basar. So shouldn't we be able to move the hide with the meat, even though it's a basar sadavar aser? V'igufa minalan. So the Gemara says, but one second. Where are you coming up with this idea that you would be able to move this bag that has the money in it in order to save the Sefer Torah? Well, if you're going to say, well, from the fact that from where the isbei maos, that when this bag that has both the Sefer Torah and the money in it, lo shadilu, you don't throw away the money, you can keep the money in there. Well, isuya nami maisinan. Well, then in a case where there is a bag that has only money in it, we should also be allowed to take that in order to save the Sefer Torah, right? If when you have the bag with the money and the Sefer Torah, and there's a fire, and we say you could just take the whole thing, you don't have to throw away the money. Well, I'll say, even when I just grab the bag with the money, I also don't have to throw away the money, even though it's literally just a bag with money in it. So we see you can move a basar sadavar aser. But midami, but are those two cases similar? The case when there's a bag with money and a Sefer Torah, is that similar to when there's a bag with only money? Hasam adahachi v'achli nafla deleka. No, when there's a fire and then there's a bag with money and Sefer Torah, the fact of the matter is you don't have time. The fire is going to consume the Sefer Torah while you're getting rid of the money. So therefore you can move the bag with the Sefer Torah and the money. No, but over here, as you're running with the bag and the money, just shake it away. Get rid of it. So therefore, we don't have any reason to assume that you can just carry a bag with money in it. And therefore, if we have no reason to assume that you can carry a bag with money in it, we have no reason to assume that you should be able to move this meat with the hide in it. It's a basar sadavar aser. Okay, so the Gemara just basically aborts this whole failed attempt by Rav Ashi. It was complicated anyways. It was weird. He starts talking about muktzah and malacha. We throw it out before he even gets into his malacha attempt. I mean, he just tried to, explain that they argue that the Chacham, Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Shmuel ben Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka are arguing about muktzah and trying to explain the Rabbanan's arguments, but the Rabbanan's arguments aren't really making sense. Okay, we basically back away from Rav Ashi's mahalach. Ela Amar Marbar of Ashi. Rather, says Marbar of Ashi, le'olam kedam rinan meikar. Rather, let's just go back to our original step. What was our original step? Forget about muksa. Let's just focus on the malacha thing, right? According to Rabbi Shmuel ben Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, you would not be allowed to strip the hide from this korban pesach any further than the chest, because once you get out the emurim, you've done what you needed to do. You have no, license. You have no reason why you should be able to continue doing the malacha of hafshata. Now, the Rabbanan are trying to argue and say, yeah, but what about, if you're allowed to move a bag that has a Sefer Torah in it, even though there's money in it also, well, right, because, even though moving the money is a tzorech hedyot, but the fact of the matter is that, within the process of doing the tzorech gavoa, of saving the Sefer Torah, you're also allowed to do it, tzorech hedyot, which is saving the money as well. So here also, within the tzorech gavoa of kopal Hashem l'ma'aneu, of, honoring God, we can also do the malacha of afshata, right? To which we asked, yeah, but muksa is midarabanan and afshata is midaraisa. Udkakashalach hasam tilto v'acha malacha. And what about the question that, yeah, but by the Sefer Torah, it's mukta, which is midarabanan, and over here by the korban pesach and stripping the hide, it's a malach midaraisa. Kigon delo kaba'ile leor. He's stripping the hide, but he doesn't need it. New friends, what does that remind you of? He's doing a malacha but he didn't intend to. And don't say davar she'einu miskavin. Remember, davar she'einu miskavin is when maybe it'll happen, maybe it's not. Here it's definitely happening. Who could tell me? Who could tell me? What? Say it louder. That's right. Very, very good. Psik reisha. Va'abaye v'rava da'ami tarvayu modu Reb Shimon b'psik reisha v'lo yamus. No. Abaye and Rava both agree that Reb Shimon would say that a psik reisha v'lo yamus, right, removing the chicken's head so you could play with it, it's necessarily going to kill the chicken, therefore it's not allowed. Here also, I understand that you're very concerned with honoring God, but you are necessarily going to do the melacha of hafshata. That should not be allowed. So the shakale bebarze. So the Gemara says, the answer is that, but he's removing the hide. According to the Chachamim, he is removing the hide in very little strips, which is not kedarko. It's not the normal way to skin a sheep, apparently. And therefore, since it's not the normal way, it's only going to be also midirabanan. So in the context of kopal Hashem lema'aneu, it would be acceptable, and that's why they would say that you would be allowed to remove all of the hide from the little sheepy guy. Whereas Rabbi Shmuel ben Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, I guess, would not say that that's okay. Okay, very nice. Okay, friends, who's ready to get into some mavui stuff? Yeah. All right, very good. Don't worry, friends, it's not too hard. So now, where can you save these Kisvei HaKodesh? Right? These books that you're saving, where are you saving them to? So we said, the Chacham say you could save it to a mavui she'eino mefulash, right? A mavui that is closed. And Ben Beseira says you can even save them to a mavui that is open, that is mefulash. So, remember, what's a mavui? A mavui is an alleyway, right? Imagine you have some main street, and off of Main Street, there is some alleyway. You go into the alleyway, and from the alleyway, you can then enter into these courtyards, which have houses that open into them. Okay, so now, we're trying to figure out what is the mavui, amafulash, what is an open mavui, and what's considered a closed mavui. So, I always assumed, by the way, that an open mavui was, when it's like open on both sides, you can walk straight through, and a closed mavui is like when it's basically a dead end. But in this context, we're not necessarily assuming that. Okay. I wonder if a standard situation of mavui mefulash and ena mefulash is that. But in any event, in this case, we're going to have a few different options. So echidami mefulash, echidami she'ena mefulash. So what is a mavui amefulash? What is an open mavui? And what is a non-open mavui? Amar of Chizda, shalosh mechitzos. So it says of Chizda, if it has 3 walls, i.e. it's a dead end, right? You pull off of Main Street into this alleyway, and there's 3 walls in the alleyway. It's a dead end. The only way to get out is to turn around and go back to Rosh Hashanah. Ushnei lechin, and it has 2 lechis. Friends, who remembers what a lechi is? Lechi is that vertical standing pole that's at the end of the entrance, depending if you're going in and out, but right by Rosh Hashanah, that reminds you, hey, you're changing domains right now. So a mavui hamefulash would be a mavui, a dead end mavui a mavui she'eino mefulash, that's considered closed, that is not open, that's considered closed, is a dead end mavui that has 2 of these vertical poles, right? So Amar of Chizda, shalosh mechitzos, if it has 3 walls, if it's a dead end, vishnei lechian, and it has 2 lechis, zeu mavui she'eino mefulash. This is a mavui that is not opened. Shalosh mechitzos v'lechi echad, if it has 3 walls, if it's a dead end, but there's only 1 lechi, zeu mavui amefulash. This is considered an open mavui, since it only has 1 lechi. And in that case, if there are 2 lechis, so it's a mavui she'eino mefulash, the Chachamim would say that you can bring Kisvei HaKodesh into this mavui. According to Ben Beseira, you can even bring Kisvei HaKodesh into a mavui she'eino mefulash, a mavui amefulash, an open mavui, which is a mavui with only 1 lechi, right? Hopefully I didn't make any mistakes there, right? According to the Chacham, it would have to be a mavui she'eino mefulash, it would have to be a closed mavui, it would have to have 2 lechis. According to Ben Beseira, even if it's an open mavui, a mavui amefulash, so, which only has one lechi, you could bring the Kisvei HaKodesh dartin. Fine. V'tarvayu liba de Rabbi Eliezer. And they're both going based on Rabbi Eliezer's opinion. Ditnan, as we learn in the Mishnah, hechsher mavui, what's considered a kosher mavui. Beishamai omim lechi v'kora. Beishamai says you need to have a vertical lechi as well as a horizontal kora that goes from one wall of the alley to the opposite wall of the alley, so that you see this horizontal beam. So according to Beishamai, you need both a vertical lechi and a horizontal kora. Uveis Hillel omrim, o lechi o kora. Beis Hillel says no, you need only one, either a lechi or a kora. That is enough. Rabbi Eliezer omer, says Rabbi Eliezer, shnei lechim. Rabbi Eliezer says no, a proper mavui that is considered a mavui she'eno mefulash, a mavui that is not open, right? A mavui that's, all of the halachis of making shitufei mavos and, eruvs and all sorts of things, that applies. You need to have two lechis for that, okay? And therefore, according to Rav Chizda, both the Tanakama and Ben Beseira are going based on Rabbi Eliezer's opinion, which is that to have a mavui she'eno mefulash, it must have two lechis. And therefore, the Chachamim are saying exactly like Rabbi Eliezer, which is that you have to, if it has two lechis, then you can bring these Kisvei HaKodesh into there. If it only has one, then you may not. According to Ben Beseira, he says, look, even if you only have one lechi, it would be permitted to bring the Kisvei HaKodesh into that mavui. Amar le Rabba, so now Rabba says to Rav Chista, Shalosh mechitzos v'lechi echod mefulash karis lei. 1 second. Rabba says you are considering a dead-end alleyway with a lechi. You're considering that to be opened? Rabba doesn't like that. I guess he would consider that to be closed. Okay? V'od, and more so. L'Rabbanan natzu l'socho ochlin u'mashkin. According to the Rabbanan, why are they stopping at Kisvei HaKodesh? Why, right? Kisvei HaKodesh, it sounds like we're making special arrangements for Kisvei HaKodesh. Ochlin u'mashkin, food and drink, that we could, we don't have to make special exceptions. Whatever the halacha is, right? It could be more mekel because we want to save Kisvei HaKodesh. But Rabba is saying that to bring Kisvei HaKodesh into a mavui, that's a dead-end mavui with two lechis, you can even bring food into there. Right? What's the chiddush for Kisvei HaKodesh? You can even bring food into a mavui that is so closed as that. So, it doesn't sound like we're making any special dispensations then for Kisvei HaKodesh. Elo Amar Rabba, so rather Rabba explains the machlokas between the Tanakama and Ben Beseira in the following way: Shtei mechitzis u'shnei lechyin zeu mavui she'enu mefulash. Shtei mechitzis v'lechi echad zeu mavui hamefulash. Okay, so rather, says Rabba, if you have two mechitzis, right, i.e., an open alley, it's not a dead end, right? Yeah, let's say you have Rishus Arabim, and then you have an alleyway that you can go off to, and there are walls on your right and on your left, and you can walk straight through the alley and exit on the other side. Okay, now if this alley has two lechis, right, one when you come in and one when you go out, right? So if I walk straight through, so when I enter into the alley, I pass a lechi, and then I walk straight through the alley and I exit on the other side and I pass another lechi as I leave. So that would be zeu mavui she'enu mefulash. This is the mavui that is not mefulash. This is the open mavui that the Rabbanan, no, this is the closed. It's a little hard because it's like a negative. Eino mefulash is open. Meaning, no, eino mefulash is closed. It's not open, so it is closed. It's a little confusing. I guess we could just stick to Einu Mefulash, which is not open. Just avoid using the word closed. We can just use open and not open. But I feel like closed is a stronger word than not open. Friends, what should I do? I don't know. So, it says Rabbah, if you have this open-ended alley, and there are two lechis, so that makes it a mavui she'eno mefulash, a mavui that is not open, i.e. a mavui that is closed. And therefore, you would be allowed to bring the kisvei HaKodesh into there according to the Chacham. Shtei mechitzas v'lechi echad zeu mavui hamefulash. Now, if there are two walls and only one lechi, so that would be a mavui hamefulash, a mavui that is open, and Ben Beseir would say you could bring kisvei HaKodesh dartin, but not the Chachamim. Fine. V'tarvayu aliba derebi Yehuda. Now, both Ben Beseira and the Chachamim are generating their opinion based on Rabbi Yehuda. What does Rabbi Yehuda say, friends? Titanias, we learn in a brayso, Yeser al Kain Amr Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda was even more, more makel, or whatever he added on to what Rabbi Eliezer said. If a fellow has two houses on either side of Rishus Harabim, it sounds very fancy. Big real estate guy. Two houses, either side of Rishus Harabim. Sounds great. In any event, Akopanim, so then Mishayeshlo Shnei Batim B'Shnei Tzidei Rishus Harabim. So somebody who has two houses on either side, he's got one house on either side of Rishus Harabim. Fine. So basically, he's got two walls, right? Meaning you have Main Street, and then you get to this one point, and you look to your right, you see Reuven's first house. You look to your left, you see Reuven's second house. Now, those two houses basically create two walls. So actually, maybe you're now walking through a mavui. And so Rabbi Yehuda says, Osa lechi mikan v'lechi mikan. So you know what you can do? You can put a lechi when you start getting into this area of Reuven's houses. Then put another lechi when you exit the area where Reuven's houses are. And o kora mikan v'kora mikan. Or you could put a kora, a beam across the Rishus Harabim above when you enter into these to the house area, and when you leave the house area. V'nosin be'emtza, and in the middle you can carry the ma'aseh because it's a mavui. Okay. And they said to him, no, you can't do that. You can't just make an eruv in Rishus Harabim like this. Okay. And therefore, so Rabbah wants to argue that the Chacham would say that if you have like Rabbi Yehuda, that if you were to have this mavui with two walls that's opened, and you have a lechi at the beginning and a lechi at the end, you would be able to move kisvei HaKodesh save kisvei HaKodesh into there. And if there's only one lechi, so then, according to Ben Beseira, you would be allowed to save kisvei HaKodesh into there, but not according to the Chachamim. Amalei Abaye. So now Abaye says to his Rebbe Rabbah. He had two Rebbeim, Rav Yosef and Rabbah. Abaye apparently grew up in the house of Rabbah Bar Nachmani, and that is why sometimes we call Abaye Nachmani. L'didach nami l'Rabbana natzi l'socho ochlin umashkin. So Abaye asks his Rebbe, and he says, but according to you as well, Rabbah, according to the Chachamim, that is according to Rabbi Yehuda, if we're going to take Rabbi Yehuda's opinion about a mavui, which is that it just needs two walls, and it needs to have a lechi at the beginning and a lechi at the end, so according to the Chachamim, that's a super good mavui. You should even be able to bring food into there, not just kisvei HaKodesh. So Ella, Rav Ashi, rather says Rav Ashi, Shalosh mechitzos v'lechi echad ze mavui she'enu mefulash, Shalosh mechitzos below lechi zeo mavui ha-mefulash. So rather says Rav Ashi, a dead-end mavui, a mavui that you turn off of Rishus Harabim into this alleyway with three walls, it's a dead end. So if there's one lechi, v'lechi echad, if there's one lechi, so then ze mavui she'enu mefulash. Well, then this is considered closed. This is considered a mavui that is not open, and you would be able to save kisvei HaKodesh into there. Shalosh mechitzos, according to the Chacham, shalosh mechitzos below lechi, and three walls, a dead end without any lechi. Well, then zeo mavui amefulash. This is a mavui that's considered open. Now, according to Ben Beseira, you would be allowed to bring kisvei HaKodesh into there. However, according to the Chachamim, you would not. Va'afilu Rabbi Eliezer. Now, va'afilu Rabbi Eliezer to Amar ba'inan lechiyim, and even according to the Rabbi Eliezer, who says that you would require in a dead-end mavui 2 lechis in order to carry in there. That is only for a sefer for ochlin umashkin, but for a sefer Torah, all you need is 1, right? Meaning, so we're kind of like adapting Rav Chisda's opinion, but going one step down, right? Or don't even get into Rav Chisda. This is Rav Ashi argues on both Rabbah and Rav Chisda, but the point is that Rav Chisda was explaining like Rabbi Eliezer. That's what we care about, right? We're going like Rabbi Eliezer, right? Rabbi Eliezer explained that this mavui that right. How did he say it? Hechsher mavui. In order for there to be a kosher mavui, it has to have 3 walls. It has to be a dead end mavui, and it has to have 2 lechis. Okay. So now that, however, is only if you want to be able to bring something like ochlin umashkin in there, right? You would need 2 lechis. However, what our Mishnah is saying is that if there's only 1 lechi, even though you wouldn't be able to bring food into there, for kisvei HaKodesh, that would be considered a mavui she'enu mefulash. That would be considered a closed mavui, and the Chacham would say that you'd be allowed to bring kisvei HaKodesh into there to save them. According to Ben Beseira, even if there are no lechis at all, you would be that would be considered a mavui hamefulash, an open mavui, and you would be, according to Ben Beseira, you would nonetheless be able to save kisvei HaKodesh into this mavui, but the Chacham would say you would not be allowed to. You would need to have at least 1 lechi. Pretty exciting stuff, right? Right. Says the Mishnah, Matzilin Mazin Shalosh Sudos Aroi La'adam Aroi Levehema. Okay, so on Shabbos, if there is a fire, Rahman al-Itzlan, and so we're saying that you can save enough food for 3 meals. Okay, so there's a fire, Rahman al-Itzlan, and you are trying to grab things in a frenzy, so you're allowed to take enough food for 3 meals. Now, food that is fit for people, you can take for people, and fit that is food for animals, you can take for your animals. Ketzad. What does this look like? Nafla Dleika B'leilei Shabbos. So if a fire falls out in his house on Erev Shabbos before he ate his Friday night Suda, so Matzilin Mazin Shalosh Sudos, so he can save 3 meals worth of food. B'shachris, if the fire broke out in the Shabbos morning before he ate his lunch, Matzilin Mazin Shtei Sudis, so you can save enough food for 2 meals, because there are 2 meals left on Shabbos. B'mincha, if the fire broke out in Shabbos afternoon before he ate Shalosh Sudis, Mazin Suda Achas, so then he could save enough food for 1 meal, since there's only 1 meal left in the day. Rabbi Yossi Omer La'olam Matzilin Mazin Shalosh Sudis, whereas Rabbi Yossi says you can always save 3 Sudis worth of food. Meaning, even if it's right before Shalosh Sudis, you can still save 3 meals worth of food on Shabbos, because on Shabbos you eat 3 meals, even if you already ate 1 or 2 or whatever. You could still save 3 meals. Fine. Michdei, the Gemara says, well, let's see, 1 second. Be'atera katarach, natzil tfei. No, he's not doing anything wrong. He's taking food out of his burning house. What's the problem? Why is he capped at 3 meals? Let him save as much food as he wants. So Amarava, mitoch sha'adam baul amamono, because a person is very sort of frenzied about his money, right? His house is burning. He's losing his possessions. If you permit him to start taking out as much food as he can, so he might get all carried away and forget that it's even Shabbos, and he'll put out the fire. Because if it isn't Shabbos, he'll put out the fire. But on Shabbos, he can't put out the fire. So therefore, you have to make tight rules so that he doesn't get carried away in trying to save stuff and put out the fire. So you can only take out a maximum of 3 meals. Amalei Abaye, says Abaye. So let me ask you a kasha. Elohaditani, that which we learn in the Brisa. Nishbra lo chavis berosh gago. If a barrel of wine breaks on his roof, maybe kli umaniach tachtel, so you could take some kind of a vessel, right? So remember, the barrel broke on his roof. He could take a vessel and put it out in his courtyard, and whatever's dripping down will drip into this vessel. But don't take another kli, an additional kli, and sort of somehow, I don't know, stick it out a window or something, hang it in midair to catch the drops in midair, or or if he takes a kli and kind of attaches it to the roof so that as the wine is coming off of the roof, it'll go directly into the kli. He can't do that. He could take one kli and he could put it into the courtyard, and whatever drips down will hopefully go into this vessel, but that's it. You can't do more than that. But what's the problem? What are you concerned about over there? Why can't you take more barrels? What are you concerned is going to happen? So Rava says that, look, the concern over there is the same. It's that if we say he could start bringing different vessels in order to save his wine, so he'll start even bringing from Rishus Harabim vessels, and because he's going to be in a frenzy to save his wine, so he's going to end up doing a Melacha D'Oraisa, which is Otzah, from Rishus Harabim into his Chatzer. So therefore, again, it's an example where we're going to make tight rules and say you can bring one kli, take a bucket, put it in your courtyard, and whatever drips down, but that's it. Fine. Gufa, we just said, Nishbra lo chavis broj gago, if a barrel of wine breaks on his roof, maybe kli umaniach tachtel. So you could bring a kli and put it in your courtyard below, and whatever drips off the roof will hopefully go into this vessel. As long as you do not bring an additional kli, an additional vessel, and try to catch the drops in the middle of the air, or put it next to your roof, and just collect whatever's getting off the roof, just like that directly. However, if he has guests, well then maybe then you could bring additional vessels to try to capture the wine so that you can serve it to your guests. However, do not, try to trick the system. Do not, first gather up all the wine and say, okay, now that I have all this wine, let me invite some guests so that I could make it retroactively okay. No, that's not okay. Right? First you have to invite the guests, and then you can collect the stuff. And then you can collect the wine. Fine. Now, don't be sneaky for this, right? Don't go and invite over friends who you know already ate and are stuffed and are not going to drink any wine. I don't know, who would not drink wine? I guess sometimes Lamaisa, it gets to a point where you probably shouldn't drink any more wine. But still, you still drink more wine, right? I don't know, maybe the people who don't. And I'll go upon him. So then, where were we? So vein ma'arim b'chach. So we're not sneaky about this, right? So don't be sneaky. If you have friends you can invite that are going to drink wine with you, so invite them. But don't invite friends just so you can check off the list that you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the friends that you invited. Mishum Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda Amu. They said the name Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda ma'arimin, that you actually are allowed to be sneaky, and sure, invite over whoever you want, even if they're not going to drink with you. And let's say that there's machlokes between the Tanna Kama and Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda about can you be sneaky regarding who you invite to enjoy your wine with you. Tanna Kama says no, you can't be sneaky. Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda says yeah, sure, you can be sneaky. Let's say it's like the same machlokes between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yoshua. The Tanya is learning a brayso also as benosha naflu lebor. Okay, so if you have an animal and its child that fell into a pit, now you're not allowed to slaughter an animal and its child on the same day, okay? So if you have an animal and its child that fall into a pit, so how do you go about saving them? And it's Yom Tiv, right? That's an important part. It's Yom Tiv. So the thing is, you can't slaughter both of them on Yom Tiv, right? You can't slaughter both of them on Yom Tiv. So, therefore, it sounds like you can't remove both of them from the pit because it's muksa, right? It only wouldn't be muksa if you can slaughter it, but you can't slaughter both of them because it's a parent and a child, so you can't slaughter both of them, and therefore, one of them at least is going to be muksa, so you can only take out one of them theoretically. Maybe we can come up with some kind of scheme though. So Rabbi Eliezer Omer Mailes Harishon Amanas L'Shochto. So Rabbi Eliezer says that you could take out the first one and then immediately kill it. Right, so on the one hand, like, oh yeah, you're being so nice, you're taking it out of the pit, right? Kinda. So Rabbi Eliezer Omer says, Rabbi Eliezer Mailes Harishan, So you can take out the first one, amnas l'shochto, so that you can then slaughter it. V'asheni, what about the second one? Oselo parnasa b'mkom b'shvil shelo yamos. So then the second one, you could feed it grass, throw down some grass and stuff down there to keep it alive so that it doesn't die. And then the next day you could pull it out and kill that one too. Fine. Rabbi Yoshua Omer says, Rabbi Yoshua, Mailin is harishin amnas l'shochto ve'eno shochto umayrim. So Rabbi Yoshua says, what you can do is actually, you can take both of them out of the pit. What you do is you take out the first one so that you will slaughter it. Wink, wink. Ve'eno shochto, but then you don't actually slaughter it. What do? Umayrim. You then come up with some kind of a ploy. You say, you know what? Actually, I think the other one's a little bit better. I think I want the other one. And you go and you pull out the other one as well. Umayle sasheni. Then you bring out the second one. Now, once you've already taken both of them out, if you now shecht whichever one you want. So we see in this case that Rabbi Eliezer is saying that we don't want you to be sneaky, just pull out one of them and slaughter it. Rabbi Yeshua says that you are allowed to be sneaky. You pull out the first one to slaughter it, quote unquote, and then say, you know what, actually I want the other one, take out the second one, then you can choose which one you want. So let's say that this lines up with our brisa. The Rabbi Eliezer says that you can't be sneaky is like the Tanna Kama, and Rabbi Yeshua says you can be sneaky is like Rabbi Yosef bar Yehuda. So Mimai, but the Gemara says, how come? Dilma adkan lo ka'am Rabbi Eliezer hasam de'efshir b'parnase. Maybe Rabbi Eliezer only says on these two animals on Yom Tiv that you're not allowed to be sneaky is because there's an option what you can do with the other animal. Take out one of them, and then the other one you can just feed it. So therefore he says, look, since there's an alternative for what you can do with the second animal, so then there's no reason to be sneaky and bring it up. However, maybe you could say in this case, if you don't invite your friends, well then you're going to actually lose the wine. So maybe Rabbi Eliezer would say that you wouldn't be allowed to invite your friends in this case, even if they're not going to drink. But maybe over here, where the wine is going to go bad, you would be allowed to be sneaky and you'd be allowed to invite your friends even if they're not going to drink with you. Maybe the only reason why Rabbi Yoshua says over there that you're allowed to be sneaky is mishum dika tsar ba'lechem, because these animals stuck in the pit, it's tsar ba'lechem. So therefore, you know what? In the interest of preventing tsar ba'lechem, you can pull them out of the pit, even if it means that you're going to be sneaky. But over here, where there's no, you're just trying to save wine, so then maybe he would say you wouldn't be allowed to be sneaky. There's no tsar ba'alei chaim or anything. Taner Rabbanan, the rabbis taught, hitzil pas nikia ein matzil pas hadra. If the house is burning down, you run in, you grab some bread. Now the bread that you grabbed was very good geschmacka, high quality bread, clean bread. Ein matzil pas hadra, well then you can't then go back to get the lower quality bread, the coarser bread. Hadra matzil pas nakia. However, if you saved the coarser bread, you can then run in and grab the better bread, and now you have more bread, because you can say, look, this is better bread. I'd prefer it. So therefore you can run in and get it, even though you already have the coarse bread. But if you take out the better bread first, there's no reason to allow you to go in and get the coarser bread, like you already have good bread. Umatzilin miyom kippurim l'Shabbos, avalo m'Shabbos l'Yom Kippurim. You can save food from Yom Kippur to Shabbos. So if your house is burning down, chas v'shalom, on Yom Kippur, so you'd be allowed to save food for Shabbos, because on Shabbos you can't go shopping. So, your house is going to burn down today, you're still going to need food for to eat tomorrow. So you can save food for the next day for Shabbos. Avalo m'Shabbos l'Yom Kippurim. But if the fire falls out on Shabbos, well then you can't save any food for Yom Kippur, because obviously on Yom Kippur you're not eating, but even after Yom Kippur, it's going to be a Sunday night. So just go shopping. And certainly, if it's Shabbos, you can't, and the next day on Sunday it's Yom Tiv, you wouldn't be able to save food for Yom Tiv from the fire, because on Yom Tiv you're allowed to prepare food. And also, you wouldn't save food from a fire that's happening on this Shabbos. You wouldn't save it so you can have it on the next Shabbos. There's a whole week in between, plenty of time to get food. Fine. Taner Rabbanan, the rabbis taught, shachach pas b'taner. If you forgot your bread in the oven, v'kidesh alav hayom, and now it's Shabbos. Yikes! You put 20 pitas in your oven, and they're baking, and then it became Shabbos, and you realize, these guys are going to get burnt to a crisp. So matzilin mazon shalosh sudis, so you can basically save enough pitas for 3 meals. V'omer lacherim, bo v'atzilu lachem. And then you can come and invite your friends and say, look, here, just take the pitas from the oven, they're yours. But when you take down the pitas from the side of the oven, don't use the special instrument that you usually use to take down the pitas. Rather, just use a knife. Do a shinoi. Ini, do you really have to do a shinoi? They learned the besmedrash Rabbi Yishmael, lo saise kol melacha, don't do any melacha, yatsa tkiyas shofar, ridias apas, shi chachma ve'ena melacha. So when it says don't do any melacha, well, that doesn't include blowing shofar and taking down bread from an oven, because that isn't a malacha, it's a chachma, it's a skill. So therefore, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with, we still say that you don't take down bread from the oven, or no, I guess that why should you have to do any kind of shinoi at all, right? It's permitted to take down bread from the oven. So rather, ve'ena malacha, so kama de efshar l'shanui mishanina. Nonetheless, still, if you can do it with a shinoi, do it with a shinoi. Okay, fine. Amr Rav Chizda says, Rav Chizda li'olam yashkim adam lo'otzas Shabbos. A person should always wake up early to do his Shabbos, his Shabbos shopping. On Friday, you should get up early so you can go out to the shuk and do your shopping. All right. Shneimar Zabaz says, V'ayah b'yom hashishi. It was on Sunday, on Shabbos, on Friday. It was in the context of the month. Ve'echinu eis asher yaviu, and they would prepare that which they would take. Le'alto, that's immediately, meaning because the man, they would go out and bring the man early in the morning, and it says ve'echinu eis asher yaviu. So we're comparing the preparations on Friday to when they would bring the man, which was early in the morning. So therefore, you want to prepare for Shabbos early in the morning. Okay. Amr Rabbi Abba says, Rabbi Abba b'Shabbos chayv adam livtzoa al shtei kikaris. On Shabbos, a person has lechem mishna. He makes a motzi on 2 pieces of bread, on 2 loaves of bread. Tichsiv, as the pasuk says, lechem mishna. That on Friday they got double bread. Amr Rav Ashi said, Rav Ashi chazina leilu Rav Kahana dunaka tarti uvatzachada. So Rav Ashi says that he saw Rav Kahana. Now remember, there were 2 Rav Kahanas. There was Rav Kahana, who I believe was a rebbe of Rav Ashi, but he was around the generation of Rav Ashi. And there was another Rav Kahana who was a student of Rav, or Rabbi Yochanan. I think he was a student of Rabbi Yochanan. I think he was a student of Rav, and then he made Aliyah to Eretz Yisrael. And then there's a whole story in Baba Kama that Rabbi Yochanan killed Rav Kahana. It was a whole thing. And then Rabbi Yochanan brought him back to life. But it involved a cave and a snake, a whole thing, Lamaisa. Anyways, so Rav Ashi says that he saw Rav Kahana that he would take 2 loaves of bread, but he would only actually eat one of the breads. Amar laktu ksev, he says, because it says, look, they would gather lechem mishna, so they would gather 2, but they would only eat 1. Reb Zera havabatza akule sherusa. This is a Gemara in Brachas, right? Oh, apparently the previous thing was also Gemara in Brachas, and the thing before that. All right. So Reb Zera, he would cut himself a big geshmaka piece of bread, and he would eat it with the entire meal, big enough for the entire meal. Amar Ravina Ravashi va'mechze krab sanusa. Ravina said to Ravashi, but won't he then look like a glutton? So Amar Lei, so Ravashi responded, came the chol yom lo avid va'idna uda ka'avid. Since in general he doesn't take such a big geshmaka piece of bread, he's only doing it on Shabbos. So lo mechze krab sanusa, he doesn't look like a glutton. He just looks like somebody who loves Shabbos and loves Shabbos meals. Rabbi Ami, Rabbi Asi, ki miklalu rifta de eruva shau ilave. So Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Asi, when they would have the bread from the eruv, right? I guess we're probably going to learn more about this in eruvin, but when you make an eruv, so there's also a bread involved. So when they had that bread, so they would say a motzi on it. Amri, they said, ho v'savid ba chada mitzvah, v'savid ba mitzvah achrina. Since we're already doing one mitzvah, the mitzvah of the eruv, we may as well do another mitzvah, i.e. use it for our Sudas Shabbos and make a bracha on it. Friends, that was Daf Kuf Yud Zayin. Exciting stuff. Let's do a shtickle recap. So we started off with that, continuing on the machlokas between the Chachamim and Rabbi Yishmael ben Rabbi Yochanan ben Baroka about, can you remove all of the hide from the korban pesach when Erev Pesach is on Shabbos, or only up to the chest so that you can remove the emurin. So, of course, Rabbi Yishmael ben Rabbi Yochanan ben Baroka said only up to the chest. and he defines kol po'al Hashem l'maneu as just make sure you slit down to the chest and then remove the emurin, the fats, so that you don't get wool on them. The Chachamim, however, said that you would be able to remove all the hide, and they tried to bring as a proof because of, if you could save a Sefer Torah that's in a bag with money, so therefore they want to say that you should also be able to do the stripping of the hide within the context of Kol Po'al Hashem L'Ma'aneu. To which they said, but muktzah is different than actually doing the malacha of afshata, of removing hide. So then Rav Ashi came in and tried to say that they also argue regarding muktzah. That didn't really work out so good. So then they end up saying, no, it goes back to the original reasoning about just like you can, in saving a Sefer Torah, which is a tzorech gavoa, you're also allowed to save the money. So here also, because of Kol Po'al Hashem L'Maneu, you're allowed to strip the hide. What about the malacha of afshata? But you're doing it with a shinu. You're doing it in little strips, so therefore it's only also midrabanan. The rabbanan wouldn't make the gezerah because of Kol Po'al Hashem L'Maneu. Fine. Then we talked to shtickle about mavui mefulash and mavi she'eino mefulash, because that goes back to the machlokas between the Chachamim and Ben Beseira about saving kisvei HaKodesh. The Chachamim say that you save kisvei HaKodesh into a mavui she'eino mefulash, a mavui that is not opened, whereas Ben Beseira says you can even save kisvei HaKodesh into a mavui mefulash, into an open mavui. So what exactly is this mavui mefulash and mavi she'eino mefulash? So Rav Chizda said that a mavui mefulash, let's start with she'eino mefulash. Mavui she'eino mefulash, a non-open mavui, is a mavui, a dead-end mavui with 3 walls, and there's 2 lechis. And a mavui mefulash, an open one, would be with 1 lechi. And that's like based on Rabbi Eliezer's opinion, who says that a mavui she'eino mefulash needs a dead end and 2 lechis. Rabbah says that we're talking about a mavui with only 2 walls, that you can walk through from one end to the other. And the mavui she'eino mefulash has 2 lechis, and a mavui mefulash has 1 lechi, and that's based on Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. Rav Ashi then said that actually a mavui, we're talking about over here with a dead-end mavui that has 3 walls, and according to the Chachamim, they say you can move kisvei HaKodesh into a mavui she'eino mefulash. That is when there is 1 lechi, and you can bring kisvei HaKodesh into there, even though you would not be able to bring food into there. It's a special dispensation that we have to save kisvei HaKodesh. And Ben Beseira says even if there's no lechi at all, you would be able to save kisvei HaKodesh into there. That would be a mavui amefulash. Fine. Then we talked about saving food from a fire. You're allowed to save enough food for 3 meals. According to the Tanakama, that this though changes as the day goes on, depending on how many more meals you have ahead of you. Whereas Rabbi Yossi, I believe, said that you can always, it was Rabbi Yossi, says you can always save 3 meals worth. The Gemara said, how come you can't save more than that? After all, it's just saving food. Well, we said because if you save too much, then you might forget it's Shabbos because you'll be in such a frenzy, and you might then end up putting out the fire even. Then we talked about saving wine from a leaky barrel. So at first we said that you would only be able to put a kli in the courtyard, but not, get other kelim and use those as well, because we are concerned that then you might take from Rishus HaRabim. But we said if you have friends coming over, then you would be allowed to use these additional kelim so you can serve your friends. So he said, but don't be sneaky and just invite friends just so you could say that you invited friends, even though they're not going to drink wine with you. Rav Yossi Bar Yehuda said that you actually are allowed to be sneaky. No problem. So we said maybe it's like the machlokas between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua. When it comes to the parent and child animals that fell into a ditch, into a pit, so Rabbi Eliezer says don't be sneaky. Rabbi Yeshua says you can be sneaky, but they said no, maybe the 2 opinions wouldn't necessarily line up so smoothly. Then at the end we talked about some interesting stuff about Shabbos, waking up early in order to do your Shabbos shopping. Talked about Lechem mishna, things like that. Friends, I hope you enjoyed Daf Kuf Yud Zayin, and I hope you enjoy your day. Peace.